Alright, this is a video on my 2012 Chevy Caprice. Today I'm going to be switching out the center console. I'm going to be doing it in sections. So the first thing I'm going to start off doing is removing the clips that we have on. So I will be moving this clip here along with this clip here, and then also I'm going to be removing this clip here. And to do so, I'm going to have to pop this up and then also pop this up. And after I finish that, I'll come back and show you guys what I've come up with. Alright, I was able to get off the center console and the bezel. Actually, I had to take this off as well. There's a few clips on the back that you just have to pry that off. The one thing about taking this piece off here is you actually have to get this off first. If you don't get this off, you're not going to get it off because there's two screws that you have to unscrew before you pull this piece out. With this piece here, I've already taken off the vents with about 5 screws there, and then also there's 3 screws that hold on the radio. So I took that off as well and put the radio back so I can at least listen to the radio while I take care of everything. And that is the first step of it. Alright, I have taken off the glove box. And there were a few screws that I had to use to take out that were on top here. And then these 3 here are actually inside the glove box that you have to take off the panel, because there's 2 screws behind it. Here's the glove box here. As you can see, the screws on top there, and then also the screws on the bottom there that you have to take off. And then that slides right out. And what I'm going to be doing next is just taking off the face plate here, popping off this footboard, and then as you can see, the plugs for the radio right here, so I can pull that out and take the radio right on out. So I'm going to go ahead and get this silver box out for the radio, and then that should be able to move me to the next step. Alright, this is part 3 of the 2012 Chevy Caprice PPV center console removal and radio removal. What I'm going to do now is remove the center console here, and that requires me to take off the 2 screws on the side, and then there's 2 screws a little further up as well that I have to remove to pull this police issue center console out. And then once I do that, there'll be a plastic cover on the top I'm going to take off, but there's 2 screws on the side and then 2 screws on the side there as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get that going, and I'll get back to you guys. Alright, as you can see, I finally have off the center console, and there were 2 bolts that were here and here with the bracket. This bracket is actually still on, if you can see it. And once I took that off, I was able to remove the whole center console off of there. So the next step after that is removing this e-brake piece here, and there's 2 more bolts on this side that I would have to remove to take that off. And then I'm going to take this off and put my block on this piece here so I can put on the Pontiac G8 console. So I'm finished with round 3, and I have the center piece off. After the next step after this is removing this piece here, and then once I remove this piece here, I'll be able to start working on this e-brake cable. Alright, as you can see, I finally got off the plate, and now I have the cable here, and I have to put the block on. There was 4 screws here that you have to take off to remove that plate, and you got to push it back and pull it up. And once you do that, the plate pretty much comes right off. As you can see here, the screw is on the side, but then also there's a screw in the middle there that you have to take off to get that cable off, and then it just slides right out. All right, so I'm gonna get the block on this cable here, and then I'll be back. All right, as you can see, I have the block on. So that's pretty much done there. Now, I'm gonna lift the car up, take these 4 bolts off the bottom, and then I should be able to remove this and put in the GA shifter. As you can see, I have the bolts off from underneath the car. On this, there's a bolt on the end that I took off, and then the 4 bolts up top, if you can see them, I was able to get those off too. So this is how it looks under the car. All right, as you can see, I have out the OEM 9C1 shifter from 4 bolts that were on the bottom of the car. Here's the shifter here. If you can see, there also the 4 bolts, and then there's a bolt at the end of here you have to untighten, and then that pops right up. There were 2 additional screws here that you have to loosen up, and then it pops right up and right out. Now I'm going to go ahead and install the Pontiac GA shifter, and then actually I'm not going to have all of the parts, so I'm actually going to cut this for now so I can pop this out and get the 9C1 shifter in. I'm sorry, the GA shifter. All right, I have the Pontiac GA shifter on. I basically just backtracked my steps, and with the screws here underneath, and then just plug it in the connector. I've already spliced the wires to hook up my traction control and my sports mode, and then also my horn I'm going to run to the glove box here. So I spliced that as well so I can run it to the glove box. It's not going to look pretty, but it'll be in the glove box. And then also have the console pretty much in. There's 2 bolts, and you may be able to see one right there, and this one on the other side. And then also with the bracket, I just ran some bolts through the bracket there, and you might not be able to see it, but there's the 4 bolts that I took off to take the e-brake cable. I basically brought bolts to put into the bracket for the G8 and just ran that in there. So now it's just putting on the pieces. I don't have the center support yet, so once I get that, I'll be able to pretty much get that going. Then I have to also get the center bezel, and then I have a boot coming in soon too as well. So once I finish all of that up, I'll get back to you guys. All right, I am all done with the 2012 Chevy Caprice center console upgrade. I'll go over some of the updates and the process of how I got to the finished product. So this is pretty much what it looks like when I finished it. I have a little time has lapsed since I've started the project. It's been about a year, so I do have the Pontiac G8 ABS leather seats too as well. One thing that I did upgrade was the center boot. Well, a few things that I upgraded was the center boot from Redline Goods. I actually ordered the shift knob from Australia, as well as the buttons for the sport and performance mode. In the G8 setup that it came out of, it's actually the seat warmers here. And then with the armrest cover, I actually ordered that from Redline Goods too as well, and it's a leather cover. In my build, I mentioned that with the console that I put in, I was using Wipe New. That wasn't really working out for me, so what I was able to do was spray it with truck bed liner, and it matched up pretty well to the OEM texture for the interior and the console. So I was able to do that. The center support, I didn't get that in for about 6 months. So what I was able to do was run 2 wooden blocks, and I have pictures of that to keep this going, and I ran that for about 6 months. I do have the center support in here now, so it is all finished. I had to take it out. When I took it out, I actually broke the center bezel as well as the console bezel. So just be careful if you are doing the wooden blocks, and you're going back in and put in the center support. I did mention in the video with the glove box that I moved the horn. It's actually the trunk button, and I have the trunk button right here. So I had to move it from the original setup, which was the location right here where the 12 volt is at. So I ran the wires, and now I have it in the glove box. It's not pretty, but it functions. Some updates that I made was adding the Caprice from a 92 Chevy Caprice. So I actually got that off and sprayed it with truck bed liner. And then I kept on the carbon fiber wrap when I did this here. And this is one of the first pieces you have to take off. So I did wrap that, and that was essentially how I was going to have the entire console. But it wasn't working out, so I did the truck bed liner. I do have the tap support function set up here. And it's basically 2 wires that you have to run from the original harness that comes out of the Caprice to plug it into the GA shifter, and then run that to the control module. And once you do that, you're able to add in the tap shift function. But I don't have the low drive. But for me, it doesn't really matter with me with the tap shift function. My last update that I did was adding in the actual, adding in some magnets under here. And this was actually the window control button. And I knocked those out, and I cut them out and used Bondo to smooth this over. And then I sprayed it with truck bed liner so it looks OEM. But there's actually magnets under here, so I can set my cell phone on here. And then I have a cell phone holder on top too as well, so I'm able to have a cell phone up there too as well. So I'm pretty much all done. The only thing I'm still working on is the alignment of the side panels. On the Caprice, it doesn't line up that well, opposed to coming off of the G8, but it's not that bad of a look, so I'm still working on the alignment there. But I'm pretty much all done. It wasn't that bad to get it back in once I took out the 9C1 shifter, and basically at that point it's just working forward. So feel free to like this video. I do have the actual build on New Caprice forums at TEdwards0633. I will have another video for the exhaust as well as my entire build. And I'll upload those videos for you to see all the updates I've made since then. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on the forum, and feel free to like this video. And that's the finished product.